Hello aspirants, welcome to Get Set Law. Today we are discussing a very important topic, and this is about the appointment of the Supreme Court judges. Now, why it is relevant? Because recently 3 judges have been appointed in the Supreme Court, and with that we have reached the maximum capacity, which is 34 in number. So 34 is divided as 33 plus 1. So basically 33 are the Supreme Court judges and 1 is Chief Justice of India, who is Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud. So we will see that how the judges are appointed, what is their tenure, how are they being removed, and what are the other nuances of the Supreme Court. So as I mentioned that 3 judges are being appointed. So these 3 judges are, you can see on the screen, that Delhi High Court Chief Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Rajasthan High Court Chief Justice Augustine George Masih, Guwahati High Court Chief Justice Sandeep Mehta. So these are the 3 judges who have been appointed in the Supreme Court and leading to the maximum capacity. All of these 3 judges bring a lot to the table. All of them had a very meticulous background. They have given something nice judgment, some extraordinary remarks they have given in multiple cases which have led to providing of the justice to the ordinary citizens. So this is about the judges, and now we will see what is the background. When did our Supreme Court come into picture? So we all know that on 26th January 1950, we implemented our constitution. So our constitution is the supreme law of the land. It's the supreme document. And post that, just 2 days after 26th of the January, on 28th January, our Supreme Court came into existence. Post inauguration of the Supreme Court on 28th January, so the Supreme Court started its sitting. They commenced their proceeding, and it was going on a chamber in the Parliament building, the old Parliament building. Now we already have a new Parliament building, the Central Vista project. But the old Parliament building, the few of the chambers had been allocated for the sitting of the Supreme Court. Now the present building of the Supreme Court, which we see, the Supreme Court infrastructure in our Delhi, was established in 1958. So that had been done at that point of time, and since then multiple changes have been made in the Supreme Court building to improvise the infrastructure. As we saw that we have improvised our new Parliament building. It's been 100 years that we use the old Parliament building, and now with the emergence of Central Vista, we have got new Parliament building. Similarly, multiple changes have been done in the Supreme Court in order to make it, more modern and tech savvy. The original constitution, so when the constitution was made, it recommended the bench of 7 judges to be placed in the Supreme Court, but it mentioned that whenever there will be a need, we can always increase the number of judges. Now, the question is how appointment takes place. Who is involved in appointing the Supreme Court judges? Because this is a very, very significant post, because these are the people who will gonna give us justice, who are gonna save our fundamental rights, who are gonna provide us the basic rights and the human freedoms. So how appointment is done? Appointment is done in this office by the recommendation of Chief Justice, and basically this is done through the collegium. So Chief Justice of India is the main person who decides, who gives recommendation for this specific thing. Now the Union Minister of Law and Justice, so he seek the recommendation from the outgoing Chief Justice of India that who will gonna be the next Chief Justice of India. So this is a mere formality, but it is fixed that the senior most judge of the Supreme Court will become the Chief Justice of India. But as a matter of formality, the Union Minister of Law seeks recommendation from the Chief Justice, the ongoing Chief Justice, and he recommends that who will be the next CJI. It has only once happened during the time of Indira Gandhi that the hierarchy had been broke and the third most senior judges have been appointed as a Chief Justice of India, but it's not a regular course. As I mentioned, the collegium system is a club of judges, is a club of four senior most judges on the Supreme Court, and they decide that who will be the next judge, whether the Chief Justice of High Court, judges of the High Court, judges of the Supreme Court. It is their decision which is relevant, and thereafter Union Minister of Law takes it to the Prime Minister of India, who further recommends it to the President to make the appointment. So this is the whole system. We call it as a collegium system. So in between there were attempts made by the Parliament to build a National Judicial Appointment Commission, with which the Parliament was trying to make it, more sublime, with which there will be the more involvement other than the judiciary, which has been struck down by the Supreme Court, saying that it will curb the judicial independence, because as soon as the legislature will be involved in the appointment of the Supreme Court judges, there might be a possibility that judges will not be confident, will not be comfortable. That is why it was struck down, and the collegium system has again been re-established. So collegium means, technically this definition is not given in the Indian Constitution, but we have evolved this particular word from multiple judicial pronouncements. Now, what is the qualification if you want to become a Supreme Court judge? The qualification is definitely you have to be a citizen of India, and then you must have served as a judge in the High Court for at least 5 years, or at least you have served as an advocate for the 10 years in the High Court, or you can also be a distinguished jurist. So these are the 4 qualifications which you must have in order to take a seat in the Supreme Court. Removal. Now, removal of Supreme Court judge is a very crucial element, and that is why it's been kept in such a way that it's not easy to remove a Supreme Court judge. Multiple attempts have been made in the past that they have tried to remove the Chief Justice of India, or they have tried to remove the Supreme Court judge, but it had been unsuccessful. So that is why we can see that there is only 2 things, that there is a proven misbehavior or incapacity. So 2 things have been mentioned in the Constitution of India which will lead to the removal of the Supreme Court judge, and it has to be done by the Parliament. They have to pass the bill, and the bill has to pass in both the houses with the special majority. So this is a very tedious process with which a judge will be removed. So this was all for today. We have discussed how the Supreme Court judges are appointed, and the tenure is for the 65 years until the age they attain. So till the 65 years they are eligible to be in the court, and post that they will be retired. So this was all for today. I hope you have learned something from this, and see you in the next video. Stay tuned. Thank you.